I want to share with you in this video how I went from losing over $10,000 testing my first affiliate offer to having a $20,000 profit day. Yes, that's one single day, $20,000 in profit just within 9 months after. And in this video, I'm going to share with you basically all the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, everything I learned, and how you can more or less repeat this process too. Okay. Before I start, though, as always, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm putting out daily content just like this, and also a mix of technical, how to media buy, how to scale campaigns, and then also bringing on badass experts in the online marketing space, people you've probably seen speak on stage at big shows for the last decade on how to do this online thing at a high level. So let's jump right in. So the first affiliate offer I truly ran did not go well at all. And before I started running this offer, I had spent over, at this point, probably, let's say 7 to 8 years successfully running paid ads. First in my gym at a local level. This was 2021. Yeah, late 2021. And I ran my first Facebook ad, I think in 2015 for my gym. Okay. And since then, I'd spent consistently to grow my gym, which I eventually sold in 2022. And then also I had been doing e-commerce at pretty good scale from 2017 up to 2022 before I fully moved into affiliate marketing. Now, the first offer I ran was refi. So refinance offer. Basically, people that wanted to refinance their home, tap into historically record low rates, and save money on their monthly payment, right? A no-brainer. There's obviously a service fee attached, but then it was a huge net positive for people that were locked in at 5% or 6% or whatever it is. If they get in like 3.5%, right? It was like, it hasn't happened since, and it probably won't happen for a very long time. So, and a lot of people qualified too. Basically, everyone that had purchased the home for the prior, I don't know, the trend and history of interest rates, but I'd imagine the past 10 to 20 years prior, people were locked in at higher rates, and they could basically just save money by filling out a web form, talking to someone, and then more or less paying a fee on the refinance. So the mortgage industry was obviously booming because of this, and it was just like the perfect storm, right? So a lot of these mortgage brokers were buying traffic, they're buying leads from affiliates, people that generate leads, people that generate phone calls. And what happened was there was a huge boom. So everyone that had already been in the affiliate marketing space prior to 2021 is a jump on this offer, and there was a limited demand, more or less. And if you knew what you were doing at that point, you could pretty much print money. I know people that moved from e-commerce in 2020, 2021, and they were just printing tens of thousands of dollars per day in revenue, many in profit at that same amount. And they were doing this for sustained periods of time, for months at a time, until interest rates shifted again. But I jumped in. So I was having issues with VCOM at this time. My gym was still bouncing back from COVID. And I said, okay, I see my friends that have moved from e-commerce to affiliate marketing, absolutely killing it and not having the same kind of headaches that I'm dealing with fulfillment and product and inventory. And I said, I want in on this. And I remember not knowing what I was truly doing, trying to replicate what I saw happening in Facebook ads library, and just trying to figure things out and just losing money. I'd spend $500 and I'd make back $250. I'd spend $1,000, I'd made back $300 or $500. And this basically went on more or less. I didn't really get it. Okay, I didn't really understand how the game worked. I thought I knew ads. Obviously, we were much better than we were then, but we weren't bad. Like we were able to make things work with Facebook. I knew media buying. I knew all the hacks and tricks at that time. Our creative game probably wasn't anywhere near where it is now, but had I understood that, and had I understood how to do proper messaging and the right angles that convert, not just converted, but also backed up for the buyer, I probably would have made a ton of money on the first offer I ran, but I just didn't get it. And I didn't do the right things to go deeper to understand it. I thought, oh, well, these affiliate networks are putting this offer out, they're paying. It's probably not that complicated. It just works. So I thought there was something wrong with the offer. I thought there was something wrong with the network. I really didn't understand it. And I gave up. I think I put in the whole at least 10 grand, probably 15 to 20 realistically. And I said, screw this. So I'm going to keep doing what I do, what I know. And then I got the itch again. This was October 2021. I went to Affiliate Summit West in November or late October 2021, just after, when I was still losing money on the refi. And I didn't know anyone. And this is a huge part of what I'm trying to say here. So by going to that event, I met a few people that I still am friends with and have done business with to this day. Nothing came directly from that event right away, but I came back to affiliate marketing in January or February when one of my friends that had built an offer, more or less, where he generated leads for business owners that are looking to do self-employed health insurance plans. It was a really good product to sell as an insurance broker or agent. And my friend was basically the go-to lead generator. No one else is really generating these leads. It was more or less just him. And he had me run traffic. I ran traffic for him. I lost money doing it. Not as bad. I didn't move my ass as bad as I did with refi, but I saw it. It was a ping post model. So I would actually build my own form. I'd capture the data. I'd send the data to him. And then if it qualified, I would get paid. Very simple. And it opened my eyes up to how the game really worked. Because getting that type of transparency into duplicate rates, acceptance rates, understanding the value of the customer on the back, like all these things completely changed how I saw affiliate marketing as a whole, but really the business of affiliate marketing. I understood it more. So I don't know. I probably made a little bit of money or I lost a couple $1,000. What I was already doing in e-commerce and with an offer I built was making money. So it wasn't the end of the world, but it still wasn't pleasant. But I saw that this thing worked. I saw him making money with it and I wanted to understand it. So I went to Affiliate Summit East in 2022. And this is where I had my big breakthrough because I ran into one person, my friend Paul, who I still talk to this day, that absolutely crushed it for probably close to a decade in the online space. And he introduced me to one person that he knew that worked with the network, and this network had an offer, and this offer was more or less a unicorn, you could say. It was a once in a lifetime offer, far more rare in some ways than the refinance offer, where interest rates were super low, and it was just like a timing thing. This was unique because the offer was Camp Lejeune. So I was basically generating leads that we would then sell for, I don't know, $100, $120, depending who you're selling to. And then these were for anyone that was at a military base called Camp Lejeune for, I don't know, it was like a 20 to 30 year window. And the water was toxic, and obviously people were drinking it, and they have all types of cancers and illnesses and stuff, right? So there was a massive demand for this because the government came out and claimed responsibility, not just claimed responsibility, but guaranteed some kind of payout for every victim that the attorneys could retain and prove were eligible based on their illness, their exposure during those certain years, and basically link back to their time at Camp Lejeune and how it's negatively impacted their health today. So this was like a paycheck that these attorneys more or less had to collect. Okay, that's why it works so well, because if these attorneys found these clients and retained them, they were more or less guaranteed to get paid. So let's say the case was worth, I don't know, $20K, $30K in their pocket, and they run their own Facebook ads or Google ads, and they see cases are costing $3 to $5 grand to produce. They were basically willing to pay just as much if you could bring a lot of volume, more or less, right? This is like a general idea, okay? But not everyone had this offer. Most networks did not. I think only a handful, because the legal space isn't a huge, the tort space is not a huge thing like insurance, right? So it was very small in a sense. And because of this friend that I helped with their Facebook stuff was willing to make a connection and introduction for me to these guys, they immediately gave me the opportunity to run traffic. And actually, the first offer I ran with them was another one, which was called Roundup, which is a product-based mass tort, and also makes people sick because the product allegedly causes cancer and other things too, and there are signs supporting this, and payouts have already been settled. So I made some money with that, and then they ran out of cap, and then I think we ran one other offer. I can't remember what it was, NEC or something. One of these mass torts that have been around for many years that they're still taking cases on. And then I think it was the third offer we ran was Camp Lejeune. And Camp Lejeune was the unicorn campaign. It actually lost a little bit of money when I first started testing it, just because I wasn't on par with the creative production side. But once we figured it out, I stuck with it because I saw the potential, and my rep was saying, "Hey man, you got to keep going. This thing gonna be huge. The demand's massive. This is the perfect storm for anyone that's running traffic for the legal space." So I said, "All right." I was on vacation in Mexico with my parents, and I remember it started making money. It started becoming profitable. Our cost per lead started to drop. Our margin started to grow. And then I said, "Hey, can we keep pushing this thing? It's working." And he said, "Yes." And I kept scaling and scaling. And this time Facebook was banning people like crazy just for nothing. For you log in and you're restricted and your BM's dead and your ad account's dead and a bunch of other BS, right? And I was pushing through. So I was juggling account bans and issues while at the same time dialing good creative and pushing crazy volume. I mean, not crazy, there's levels to this. I then, probably a few months later at a mastermind, met a guy named Ron, who I think he was doing $100,000 in revenue per day with crazy ROI. I mean, you just know what you know, right? Personally, I scaled that offer to the peak. I spent $7,000 in one day, and then we produced $27,000 in revenue. So it was a $20,000 profit in a single day. I remember my account manager messaging me the next morning saying, "Dude, did you just buy a house yesterday? What's going on? You went from $5,000-$6,000 a day in revenue to $27,000. And it was crazy. I literally could not produce enough leads. It got hard and challenging because our accounts were going down. That's where actually things got hard. But the demand was unlimited. It was literally the stars aligning. I had years of media buying experience. We had pretty good creative production. I understood the technology side of it from the insurance software I ran before, building our own funnels and doing pin codes and everything like that. I'm good with people. I've been in business working with direct consumer B2B for 10, 15 years at this point. 15 years, crazy to think about. And now 15 years, I have to date myself. And it was just the stars aligning with the perfect offer that had a guaranteed, more or less like a guaranteed settlement, meaning a guaranteed payout for the end buyer of the lead or the retainer or the customer. And it just all lined up at the right time. And that really blew this thing up. I don't know if I'd be sitting here making these videos about doing what I do now had this not happened. I might have had another huge loss like I did with refinance. I didn't get it yet. And I might be doing something else. I might still do an e-commerce or I don't know. Who knows, right? But nonetheless, here we are. And we've had much bigger days than that since. Not at that kind of ROI. For every dollar you put in, you get almost $4 back. That is insane. That is unrealistic in every way. That probably will not happen again anytime soon with Facebook ads, at least for any type of affiliate offer. So just have that in mind. All right. But let's think back to what actually led to this. It wasn't just going to a show, but that's going to conferences is a huge piece of this. It wasn't just the right offer, because the right offer can make or break everything. Right? You could have all the right relationships, be the best at making ads, understand Facebook and creative and media buying and all that stuff. But if your offer sucks, it's not going to matter. It was really everything lining up. It was one preparation kind of meets opportunity, right? If I didn't have the skill set from the past 10, I guess at the time, 12 years prior between biz dev, media buying, creative, understanding how this stuff works from running a business myself, from doing e-commerce after, I probably wouldn't have been in the right place personally to understand it and do it like we did, right? And yeah, just but also meeting the right people, not being a dick, and just like being good a good person. Like it does go a long way. Like not dicking people over, it goes a long way in business, in life, in general, but especially in the affiliate space. If you're cool, if you're helpful, if you're doing the right thing, if when things go south, like you're not hiding, you're taking responsibility, you're taking ownership of things, it goes a really long way. And I do believe that all these little things, plus the right opportunity at the right time, landing in my lap, is why things worked out the way they did. Because there are a lot of people in the affiliate space that probably were losing money and continue to lose money because they didn't find that same offer, because they weren't introduced to the right person, because they didn't put in efforts to help in other ways and create goodwill. That's creating this kind of opportunity. So just know that it's not just one thing, right? If I had the opportunity but I didn't have the skill sets, I probably would have just lost money with this too, right? If this is my first affiliate offer, I probably would have been like, why doesn't this stuff work? Okay. But nonetheless, this is a lesson that everyone is going to have ups and downs. Okay. Anyone that tells you differently is probably lying to you. Some people get super freaking lucky. I'm sure there was someone that ran a Camp Lejeune kind of type of offer that never ran ads before, that like almost fell backwards in the profits on their first offer, but I can almost guarantee you they didn't scale it, right? So just understand that like this is the way it works. This is the way the world works. This is the way business works. There are exceptions and outliers, but generally speaking, my results were a result of things compounding over time, and then preparation meeting opportunity with the right offer. It literally could not have been more perfect. Okay. We continue to make a couple $1,000s in profit per day with this offer until more or less, I think the offer eventually ended in October or November, and maybe December. I can't remember when they stopped buying leads and calls for it, but Facebook just really dialed up and we were losing accounts like every 3 to 5 days. So we're actually spending more time fighting to keep Facebook accounts alive, even with super clean lawyer ads, that rather than like fulfill the capacity and run out of leads to sell, right, to monetize. So it's pretty crazy how this stuff works. And since then, I've had ups and downs too. Like that was a cool, amazing 6 months. We made a bunch of money. I was sold on this industry, and we actually pivoted, which I'll talk about in another video. We pivoted into another offer that we made pretty good money up front, and then we tried to do like a back end play. We're actually won with the end processor with the firm that was monetizing the leads and basically pertaining to clients, and we almost lost our asses. So this is the way it works. This is the way this industry works. The online business, it doesn't matter if you do e-commerce or coaching, info products, everything's gonna have ups and downs, and this is mobile. But just take these lessons and apply them, whether you want to do affiliate, lead gen, e-com, pay-per-call, it all applies. See you next video.